Psalm 127:3. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from Him. This suggests children are a precious gift from God to be valued and cared for.
In the United States, a child a minute is taken into DHS, CPS, and so on custody. The reality is their pics are already selected, you just don't know it. Being perfect no longer matters. It's what the adopting families are looking for.
Who is it stealing the children, you ask?
From caseworker to the White House, the buck stops at all levels, just not where it is supposed to be. The services your family needs, we the people have paid for to ensure your reunification. Title 4 says, reunify at all costs. United, we stand means nothing to us when it comes to family values. Children are being ripped away from their families. Parents are reverting to addictive behaviors to cover the pain. The trauma caused by child removal is just being recognized, and the results are atrocious. Termination of parental rights is not healthy for anyone, just profitable for the people enforcing the line.
It's time Washington listens to the cries of our children, the wails of their mothers, and the rage growing in the fathers. These are our children. Keep your damn hands off them. We are coming to act on the behalf of the children God gave us to protect, and you kidnapped.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Let me make sure I'm in here. How are y'all doing? I'm trying to, because this, oops, I don't even know what I'm trying to find out. Hi, I see ya. Can y'all hear me? I'm trying to get this screen. Vinny, I see what you're talking about now of your, like it's hard for you to, you're on the mobile phone. So I can tell because I can't even see my screen. All right, everyone. How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. Can y'all hear me? I don't even know what it's her. How's everyone doing? Happy early or Merry early Christmas, everyone. I hope y'all are doing having a great evening so far. Let's see, we got the chat over here. And y'all are below me, so I know Vinny helped me out today. Vinny, can you hear me in the background? Am I heard? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, they can hear you. I hear you.
Oh
So
my
you're
gosh, you
good.
scared the crap out of me. Don't do that.
No, you're good. You got it. I'm gonna jump off here, so that should kick it back to you.
Okay, I gotta send Herbert the link. He needs the link.
Yep.
turn around and make it clap. Who is that? Well, hello, welcome in. We'll clap it. Mm-hmm. Thank you, I travel. How's everyone doing? I figured I'd get on here and just join y'all on this Christmas Eve, and just see how everyone's doing, and just talk with everyone, to see what y'all wanted to talk about. Just you're welcome, Techno Hippie. Thank you, and Merry Christmas to you as well. I hope that everyone is my son was supposed to be coming home for Christmas, but he will not be. So it's gonna be okay. He told me today it's gonna be okay, Mom. He said I'll be home soon. So we are going to after the Christmas holidays, it's time to hey Tammy, how you been? How you been? How are you, Techno Hippie? Why travel? How are you? Let's see who else is in here. Big Boy Millie, how are you? See Fred. Let's see who else. Red Saturn High. Freddie Mendoza. That must be Vinny. Okay. So how's everyone doing? What do y'all got on your minds today? Like, what are y'all doing for the holidays? Are y'all because it's a different time for some, but we just gotta stay strong during this time, and remember that I'm gonna try to tomorrow for the Christmas holidays have like a virtual, maybe like a coffee shop type thing, so where if I learn this restream by the end of the night, I promise, like, I'm slacking. Like, I've tried earlier and you see what happened. That didn't go too well. So, but so everyone that's here with me, talk. Let's see what's going on. I mean, I just wanted to jump on here, and I mean, we could talk about foster care. We could talk about what's going on in the world. If anybody wants to hanging out in Arizona, awesome. Yeah, I'm over here in Georgia. So what's going on in the show us what you want, please? Well, I will show you me, just me, like sitting right here. That's what I'll show you. So how's everyone? Are y'all gonna join me? Like, I see y'all watching from YouTube. Are y'all watching from Facebook? Anyone watching from TikTok? This is like a. All right, Herbert, cool. Why don't you come on, Herbert? Come on the show. Thank you, I Travel. That's awesome. Thank you for coming. You join us on Christmas Eve, and this is real. It was just, I'm usually on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 3:00 Eastern time, and Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern time. But today was just like a stop by, like a stop in to say how everyone's doing, and welcome to the show. I hope you come back and visit us and chill with us. We are a podcast, and we like to share people's stories and get the word out, like the word out there about the things that are going on within the foster care system nationwide. What parents are going through, like parents to share their story about all this CPS corruption, with what's going on with these kids, missing children, cash for kids. Kids are not for sale. These are our future, everyone. These are our kids. These are our babies. And I mean, it's we are the parents, and your child, you're the best thing for your child. And the way, from my experience in this whole CPS world, they got a way of doing things on their own, and I don't, and that's not right, and it's not fair. It's I don't even see how they could sleep at night with some of the things that they get away with. And I'm trying to get people to speak out, share your stories, because voices need to be heard. There is, there's kids that are in, like, I don't know if anyone heard about Paris Hilton. there was a bill that was passed, or it's in I think it passed in the House of or the Senate, and it says it was for stopping child abuse in these institutions. Like, so let me tell you my story. I have a autistic, he's 19 now, boy. His name is Alex, and he is actually in a RTF, which is a residential treatment facility out in League City, Texas. And I'm from Georgia. His home state is Georgia. The only reason any CPS got involved was because an aunt, a family member of mine, decided to just take my son and just give him to the state based on false information. And she said I abandoned my child, which I did not. But my mother, who was the guardian of my son due to some past history back in 2011, I had gotten some trouble and I was going away for a minute. And, I didn't want I didn't want my kids in one of these group homes, foster homes. I didn't want the state to get my children. So I asked my family for help, and they stepped up to provide, and they provided my children with a safe and stable, a home. And my mom and my nanny and my father did for my son. Well, the judge left it up to us to decide what to do, like about me visiting my kids and being a mom like I should be, because I'm their parent and that's my responsibility. But I wanted them to be safe, because you can't expect me to get out of prison and just go to my kids and be like, hey, after being gone for a big amount of time, like 3 to 5 years, and it was 3 years. But you can't just expect someone that's like recently been incarcerated you can't expect a child just to up and want to, because I'd have to get up on my feet. I'd have to get a stable place. I had to get a job. I was fresh. I was fresh out. I was re-entering the world and needed to get on a foundation to where I was stable enough to provide for my family. And, within it took time. So when we did the guardianship in 2011, we left it in effect until the kids they would stay where they're living, as long as something don't happen, like to the guardians or to myself. So, because my family could provide a more stable place than I could at the time. So I was thinking about my children's well-being. Well, my mother passed away. So everything was in effect for over a decade. No issues with CPS, no problems. It was me and the family. And, in 2022, my mother passed away unexpectedly. In September. It was out of the blue. It was unexpected. It was a surprise. So not only did I lose my mother, I lost my son because of a narcissist in my family, and she just wanted me out of the picture. She didn't want it. I mean, I couldn't tell you what her motive was, what the whole point was. I don't know. I just know that my son was taken and I could not find him, and he was hidden out from me, and it took me 2 months to find him. And by then he was already in the foster care system. They had ended up sorry, y'all, I just lost my train of thought. So they pretty much thought that he was without a mother or father. My aunt told them some very false information that was definitely not true. Surely it's out of spite. Because I have been in my son's life. I went to Special Olympics. I went to his school. I interacted with him. I was more involved I was able to be more involved with my son than I was my daughters. I have 2 daughters, and my son's the oldest. But my girls, I can't say that I was able to, because I was alienated. It was just something that I thought I would never have to go through. So back to Sorry. But so anyhow, the state CPS here in Georgia failed to exhaust reasonable efforts to prevent foster care in the first place. They totally, thank you. They totally just took him and I mean, he was traumatized. If I knew how to share a picture of him like on here, I would. And y'all could see how he's there, but he's not there. He's hollow. He's in he's in his physical form, but his mind, he's in there. He's just traumatized. I mean, my son went from speaking full sentences and driving cars to his IQ dropped to a 40. I think it was a 42. So just imagine you lose a family member, like he lost his Mima, and taken from your home, that's the only home you've known, and put in a place that you don't know nobody. My son is a social butterfly. He's not a behavioral. He's autistic, but he's not, where the facility he's at is not a place for him. But it's not a place for any child by no means. These children that are in these places that the RTF, these residential treatment facilities are like, I mean, they might as well, they're saying they're like a prison. I mean, I've been to prison. I know what it's like. Institutional, that's the same wording they use for an adult that's going to prison for criminal charges. I mean, when I went and did time, I went to an institution, or when if I had to leave, transfer my probation to another state, it was an interstate compact. Well, with them taking him from Georgia to Texas, it's an interstate, it's ICPC, and that's who's in charge of overseeing the transporting of these kids that are in foster care. So and then these facilities, it's like, they're detained, they're isolated, they're not what word am I looking for? They're not socializing with the outside world. I mean, think about it. My son, the only state he's ever known is Georgia. Besides, like, when he would go out of state, like when he was younger, and like when we would go out maybe to Florida or something. But he was with family. Well, he's not with family now. He was put out here, out in Texas, without no family. Right, Tammy? Yes, abolish CPS, and they we could do fine without them. They are supposed to be helping us, like parents like myself, and with, get up on my feet or fix the areas I may be weak in. But I wouldn't even, like, my son was kidnapped pretty much and just taken and thrown away. Like, he's not trash. I'm sorry. My son is not trash. My son is somebody too. And these kids are someone too. They deserve to have a chance at life, just like anyone in this world does. It's not, and these facilities and these foster homes, these group homes are supposed to be their safe haven, their sanctuaries. And right, Tammy, they don't help. It's all about money. And like they, and we showed the news story that I was on in Atlanta News First here in Georgia. They did a news story about my story and about my son being sent out of state. And did you know that they send in the kids that are from, like, the state of Georgia, they have to send them out of state and bring out of state kids in to the state of Georgia because it's more funding, it's more money. So for the kids in state to get help, they have to go to another state to get. I mean, tell me if that is not trafficking children. Cash for kids. Why? When there are, I mean, for one, they didn't do nothing to prevent foster care. They didn't even, but my big thing is, why do we have to send our in-state kids away from their families to get help? I'm on probation. I can't up and leave the state of Georgia without permission. So, and they're not helping for me to see him as well. I mean, they're not going to help me. I already live in a poverty. It is trafficking. You're right, Tammy. It is. And it is. And they just, like, the day I found out he was going to Texas, I felt like I was in criminal court. Like, I'm like, well, what am I being charged with? Like, what have I done? I mean, I was shocked. I didn't know what was going on. I was new to this. And that's a lot of parents out here don't know your rights. You don't know your rights. You don't know what if you're faced. When are you just off? When I'm off, it's 6 months from now. So September of this year, or 2025. So I'm excited. It's a long time waiting. I've been on it for a long time, and it's almost time. It's time to put that past behind me, Tammy. So I'll be excited in 6 months, or well, in September. Yeah. And I've been, and in probation, let me tell you, probation has worked with me, with my son, out of this whole fiasco with the CPS dealings, and with me, and with probation. They are more understanding, and they told me they will not let them walk all over me. I mean, they've tried to. I mean, and why is it their business to butt into because, like they said, that's criminal. It's civil with CPS, but they want to turn something criminal. And that's crazy that they could sabotage our lives just because they may have a bad day or something. I mean, what would be really going on so bad that what if they don't have kids of their own? Like, they don't know what it's like. So they can just come rip a kid out of a home like they're nothing. Well, no, these kids are our future. They're our families. They're not CPSs. They're not these facilities. They deserve to be out in the world. They deserve to be socialized with the world. They don't, like with my son, they don't deserve to be locked away in these facilities and forgotten about. No. When are they heard? I mean, my son he's not talked to his sisters in 2 years. And I mean, he's supposed to be connected with his siblings if they, and just the whole situation. It's a mess. And I'm sure there's other families out there that can relate with mine as well. And I'm sure, I don't know if there's other people, like when people that are involved with CPS are experiencing right now, if maybe you have kinship, or if you have a family that can help you get these kids out of the system, because they do not belong there. If the family, friends that are willing and able, hey, get them to step up and help get these kids out of there, because they don't belong in there. I mean, it breaks my heart when I call my son, and I know he wants to be home. I do. And it some days he can handle it. And he tells me sometimes, he's like, Danielle, which he calls me Danielle. And that's, I'll go to that here in a minute. But he's like, Danielle, I got me, Danielle. Cause he does call me mom though. And when he wants to, but he's always, and I'll explain that in a minute, but he's a lot stronger than I am, dagnabbit. My boy is. And he's my hero. Like, that boy is my hero. And, after Christmas, I will have a show and I will speak more about him, and hopefully he'll be home sooner than later. Cause I will be, after the holidays, I promise, I'm going to be knocking on their doors, asking them, where's he at? Cause he was supposed to be home. We were promised. And, it's crazy how they can play with the family's emotions and feelings. I mean, he's been told 5 times he's coming home, and like, I don't like telling him without knowing for sure. And this time, it's like I thought I'd be hugging my son on Christmas, and now here I am I mean, I was going to join the live anyways and visit with y'all and sit with y'all. And, because I know that there are some out there that are alone for the holidays and that could be struggling. And let me say that, please, if you feel yourself fallen in that way, please please reach out to one of us, reach out to the 988, reach out to a friend. Don't let it get the best of you. Don't let you get in that depression or that deep, that down dark hole. Don't do that. Let's keep the Christmas spirit. Let's keep each other up this holiday season, y'all. And just know that I can put my email, or I would put my phone number, but I don't think that would be smart of me, But I would that would not be a good thing. Probably my phone would, but I would be more than willing. I just don't. I would put my email. I could put my email in the chat for y'all. If y'all need to reach out to me, I will check it periodically. I can promise everybody nationwide across the world that I will be available to talk through email, or if y'all feel as though you need to just talk to somebody. There is 988, which is there's always someone available to speak with you. And if you're not comfortable with speaking with someone like that, totally understandable, totally. But I know that especially, if you're going through a tough time right now, and if you don't have any family, or your kids are in kind of like my situation, please don't be alone this holiday. That's all I'm asking. Please just keep your spirits up. Just know you are not alone. You aren't. We love you. We do. And we are here to fight with you. We stand together. We will. I promise this January 1st, January 2nd is going to be it's going to be a game changer. Like 2025, everyone. We're going to get our kids home. We're going to get our babies back. We're going to bring all these kids home. We're going to get this done. We're going to get these families back together, and we are going to fix this, because, they have no right selling a child. What do y'all, they have no right putting a child in a container. Like, the child's nothing. They have no right to even think that they can manipulate a child in any way, shape, or form. No. These children are innocent. They're innocent kids. They're innocent. They learn from us. We are their role models. My son's my hero, because I tell you, since all this started, that boy, he has handled it a lot better than me. And my son, autistic children, they tend to not show, some don't show a lot of emotion. Well, my son, he only shows emotion to the ones that he feels he wants to, the ones he wants to, that he's comfortable with. He does show it with me, but back to like him calling me mom. My son was always around like my grown-ups, like adults, my nanny, my mom, my dad, me. His sisters were he had a sister, but he wasn't really like around a bunch of other kids except for at school. So he always heard me called by my name, Danielle. He never heard this one call me mom, or like the ones around me, us call me mom. So it kind of stuck with him. And I'm okay with that. But do you know CPS had a problem with him calling me Danielle? Like, why can't my son call me what he wants to? Right, Tammy. And but if you ask my son, who am I to him? He'll say, that's my mom. So why degrade or belittle the fact that my son calls me mom, like Danielle? Like, he's done it for 15, 17 years since he's been, or 19 years. Why change it now? Why go butt in something that they have no business? Why tear up a happy home? Why break up a happy home is what I'm wondering. Like, what's that phrase? What's that phrase, Tammy? If it's not broke, you don't try to fix it. Or I might have said that backwards, y'all. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm trying. I do miss Carrie. I do miss Carrie a lot. And it's me and her, like, I know I'm jumping all over the place, and I figured I was going to be like this when I did my show today, but I really did want to, y'all are helping me out, and I hope that I'm helping y'all out with this holiday season, because, with this podcast, Unmasking Foster Care Corruption, with me and Carrie, it kind of worked itself out as it went along. I think y'all could tell, but we did 6 shows together. And she made the foundation, like the pathway for it, because it was like we didn't know what we were talking about, because we went along with it, but it fell into place. And then now look at me. I'm getting tongue tied. I'm getting stuttering. And it's different. It is. So I'm trying, but it is hard without Carrie. Cause she was good people, and she helped me out in a lot of ways, and I hope she knows that, and I thank her for that. And I miss the way the podcast was, even though it was only for a short time. And she'll always, and that this show is in memory of her, and it's always going to be. I'm going to keep her picture on her and Colton on with me, because he was a part of my show. He was a part of our show, and thank you. I just wish I had a little bit more time with her. She reminded me a lot of my mom, even though she probably, if I said that before, she'd probably look at me like I'm crazy, because she would, yeah, but she did remind me of my mother, like, and we just hit it off. Like, she told me I was stuck with her for life. And I mean, well, and she would always talk about my son. And now, I'm going to help with Colton any way possible, anyway. So anybody out there, please keep Carrie's family in your thoughts and prayers. They did cremate her Wait, did you do it yesterday or Saturday? I think they did it yesterday. But they did cremate her. Colton, so far as everything's fine. I haven't been able to reach out to the Greg today, but I am going to. I know he did call yesterday, but I do want everyone to know I do have a disabled brother that is 37, and he's in my care. And so I do, if y'all ever hear anything or someone in the background, that's my my brother. So he's 37 and very smart, very smart. His short-term memory is gone, and his right side is right. She wouldn't want me to want us all. She wouldn't want none of us to stop. Carrie would, and that's she said, like, her, well, in the podcast with me, the last one that she did, never give up. That was Carrie's word, never give up. And she was a very strong part of this podcast, or the whole, all of us, with Vinny, Herbert, Tammy, are the guests, the people in the chat, the Darren, Herbert, Gunner, all of us. Like, she was a very big part of this. And, and I tell you, my phone line's awfully quiet nowadays without her. I miss them phone calls early in the morning. I really do. Cause boy, I'm all out of sorts. And it's just, it's going to take some time to adjust to it, but right. Right. And I mean, our talks, yeah, she would spend a lot of hours talking to us. Like it was, I mean, sometimes we talked morning, noon, and night. Like our phone calls would roll over into the podcast, and we'd have to remind ourselves, hey, we're live. So we had to make sure we definitely didn't say things that were they were not meant for the podcast. So, but we talked. I mean, and even Greg and Colton would be, they would pop in every now and then on the podcast. But that's when you're comfortable with someone, when you can trust that person, when you have that connection, friends, family, and I don't want to put it out there like this, but my family, I do have a lot of family, I do, but I also have a lot of family that is not blood, I promise, and they are more family than some of my own family. And I mean, my family, I'm sorry to say that, but it is what it is, true. My family is more or less my family is more or less my friends. They're more family than my own family. I do have some, like my aunt and uncle, that has helped me with my son. But I mean, I can't even say that. I mean, I got my brother, and he's blood. Then I got some other relatives, but as far as like the way my family used to be, it's not the same. And my mom was like my papa, that after he passed, the family did fall, there was some, I kind of, I'm not going to say I became the black sheep. Me and an uncle became the distant ones. But, it's crazy when there's people that are within your own that you would never think that would do things to try to hurt you or sabotage you or try to manipulate and hurt people that didn't deserve it. Like, why? And this is what I'll say. My mom passed away. And my big question is, why wait till my mother's gone to show your true colors? And that goes out to my family members. Why do that? Like, why would you do that? Why couldn't it happen before? You understand? Anybody that's with me understand what I'm saying? Like, I swear, I promise I will get better at this podcast. I promise. It's a baby steps. And with it being Christmas time, I'm gonna have to go get my brother up too, because I just realized he has not been awake for a minute. He's been sleeping, and I don't see how he can sleep like he does. Wow. He has a dog, and her name's Athena, and they're like two peas in a pod. It's awesome. Like she has a personality, and but she completes my brother. Like, she keeps him entertained, and my brother, he's hands-on. He likes fixing things. But I do know that if he takes something apart and he puts it out there, like sets it out, if someone tries to come in and move it around or something, it totally knocks it off. Like, it's over. He can't. And I forgot what they call that, but my son is the same way. But otherwise, if I leave him alone and let him focus, he's fixed. Oh wow, he's fixed a heater. He's fixed a drone controller that was to a different drone that sat out in the rain for a long time, and he actually took it apart and fixed it, and it works with the drone now. I couldn't believe it. Like, it is not, it didn't come with the drone that he has. He has like 3 or 4 of them, but he the controller works and flies his drone now. And I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, and he took the time out to sit and fix the controller to where, or the remote control to where it would work, to where it would, I mean, and you would think that his mentality, he wouldn't know, but he does. He does. Now, my brother has not always been disabled. He did make some bad decisions, and in 2014, he ended up in he OD'd, and we almost lost him, but he came through. He was on life support, but he came through. But he was, he must have had a stroke because the oxygen was cut off for like a good while when he was found. But his whole right side, physically, his arm is held in a position, and his leg, he can't really. But he's never going to be able to live by himself. He's never going to be able to be by himself, and he's always got to. He's never going to be able to work by himself, because even working wise, he has to be told what to do. He's got to be reminded constantly, like, because he forgets within the first 2 minutes. Like, you tell him something and it's over. Like, I mean, and he'll be like, "Hey sis, what did you say again?" Or he'll lose his train of thought and start staring, and people are like, "Danielle," I'm like, I said, I would call it it's just a fog. Like, it's a mind fog. Like, his mind, and I tell him, I said, "Bro, did your mind get away from you today?" And just joke with him, and just to make him not feel like people are, how some people in this world can be harsh, and they don't understand. Some people don't understand kids and the special needs. Like, some people, they and then they're the bullies, and I definitely can tell you CPS don't understand them. No. I do want to say to everyone that because I'm not, let's see, I'm gonna cut the show short at 45 minutes, because what time is it? Sorry, y'all. This is totally like a blooper podcast tonight. I am so sorry. It's a Christmas Eve edition. How about that? Is that cool? So I promise I'll be back on track, and like, my goal was, at least I'm learning Restream. I have to give myself credit there. I did, but I totally, like, thank God Vinny came to the rescue, because yeah, y'all see what happened earlier. Y'all couldn't even hear me. Like, hey. But so everyone, if y'all could like, share, subscribe to the podcast. We air on YouTube. We're trying to get out there on TikTok. Let's see, Twitter, I think, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. I do appreciate that. That is awesome. And I'm going to do, as well as when I'm going to share the podcast out. You have an aunt that recently passed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. How were y'all close, Tammy? Like, when my mom, my brother that's with me here, when my mom passed away, we didn't get to say goodbye. And what's crazy is I talked to my mom like 5 minutes before it happened, but I didn't get a call till "You just wish her luck." Did y'all talk? Like, did y'all talk, or just, and "You wish her luck"? Like, was it someone that you was close to, like an aunt that you was close to, or kind of like my Aunt Susan? Okay. I got a Aunt Susan. I do. Susie. We call her Susie. But yeah, I don't, the only aunt, I can't say, my mom has 2 brothers and 1, 2, 3. She's got like 5 sisters. And I can say, like, my uncle, like the aunt that's been involved, that was on that news story yesterday that Darren showed, that was with me in it, and then they showed the aunt, that is my uncle's wife, so that's my mom's brother's wife. So yeah, so my mom's got two brothers, and they've always kept close, and but the sisters, like, I can't say the family's not the same. It's not. We used to have family reunions, and no, like what's going on with me right now with CPS and my son, this would have never happened if my nanny or my mother were still here with us. But it's life, and we have to just take on life as it comes. We never know what we're in store for. That life's gonna do what life's gonna do, and we have to. It's how we handle it, and like, it's just, yeah. I bet each and every one of us have stories that over our time in our lives we've experienced some things. And my mom, she made a comment on that I just found on Facebook. And she said, my daughter, she told everybody, she's like, I'm not going to, and this was from 2017, 2018. And she's like, I'm not going to sit here and watch my daughter fail or fall back anymore. She's like, I'm not going to see my daughter wound up and go back to her past. And she's like, there's stuff that my daughter has been through that and a lot of us are scared to go through or can't go through. She's like, my daughter has had her ups and had her downs. My daughter's been at rock bottom and got up and brushed it off and went at life again. And she's like, there are things that my daughter's overcame that I could never, that my mother said she would never. And when I read that really, really made me feel good, that my mother, because me and my mom wasn't close, like when I was little. Like, of course, I'm probably going to be the same way with my daughters, more strict on them than my son, which I thought my mom was a little bit too strict, but now, I thank her for it, because if she didn't try to be involved and she just wasn't, didn't interact or call, and where would I be today? Mom was being mom. She was being a protective mom. And I thank her for that every day. And I wouldn't change it for nothing. You only get one mom in this world in this time, and cherish her. Because you never know, one day to the next, everyone. You never know. And then, it's, I wish I could go and get, I wish heaven had a phone, I wish I could see her one more time, but you know what? She's here. She's right here with me. And she's making sure that I'm okay. She's protecting us. And, like my brother, he sometimes he just forgets, and he's like, sis, I want to go see mom. And I have to remind him that mom's an angel now. But, his some days are better than others with him. Some days he can act like at his age, even though he was 35 for like 5 years, but it's okay. Because I told him, I said, that's okay, bro. You can be 30. But he does remember some things. If you're persistent with saying something over and over, it will catch on. And he will, like, he knows, I've had him in my care for almost 10 years. Oh, it has been 10 years. And he knows, what I ask of him and but I'm not going to sit, but he has his freedom. He has his own space, but he can't ever live by himself. I can't ever expect him to have a place by himself. No, because what if he leaves the stove on or something because of his memory? So somebody has to be there. That's how bad his short-term memory is. But everyone, I am going to end the show. I'm going to go ahead and stop the show. But I will be back on. There could be a pop-up like, I'll probably be back on the 9 o'clock show tonight with Vinny. Are you going to be on tonight? Herbert, are you going to be on? I think it's 9 p.m. Eastern time tonight. Vinny is that right? Are you going to be on? Are Darren and are we doing, okay, so 9 p.m. tonight, we're doing it's going to be the CPS breaking our fighting justice show, right? See, here I go again. I don't have this schedule down, and I wrote it down. So tonight at 9 o'clock, we're going to have the show, like, in 9 p.m. Eastern time. And so come join us again, and just come chill with us, come talk to us. And, especially if you're sitting there and if you ain't got nothing to do, or you want to just, hey, we're not that bad, I promise. But we are here to stand with and fight for America's children, or the whole world's children, to protect them and get them back home with families, and to hold these CPS workers and these people that are judges accountable for what they are doing, the corruption and the abuse and neglect that they are bringing on these families and tearing these families apart. The trauma, it needs to be heard. So spread the message, get the voice out there, because trust me, you may think you're alone, you're not. Trust me, there's a lot of people going through this, and they're too scared to talk. So don't be scared. You have a big support out here, I promise. And here's all of us, and we welcome anyone to come in, and if you don't want to chat, or if you don't want to just chill with us, just come join in and see what we could always put all our knowledge together, and we could become one powerful crew, like we can become unstoppable. Like they say, pack it up. One is tough, but a group is unstoppable. So pack it up. That's we're gonna get this brought to justice. We're gonna get these kids home. We're gonna get these reform change. It's gonna be a game changer. Pack it up. That's right. Parents, we must unite to save the children. And that's what we're doing. We got to save the children. Otherwise, what is happening to these kids? My biggest fear is my son disappearing out there, because he's in Texas. And that's been my biggest fear for 2 years, is all of a sudden I'm going to call one day and my son is gone. It's not, I know. So, it don't need to happen to no children. These kids deserve to be at home or with the family that would love to take care of them and provide them with that happy, safe home. Let them be children. Let them have a family. Let them be heard. These kids, my focus, like my heart is really big with the RTF facilities and these kids aging out of foster care, because they are forgotten about a lot of. And these kids that are detained in these facilities, they are put in these facilities and just locked away, like, and forgotten. Like, and it's been proven that is true. Yes. I'm very I'm stay consistent with my son. I'm not, and I don't back off every day for the last 2 years. It don't matter. Like, not a day has passed that I haven't called for my son. Now, if I didn't get to visit him, he may not have wanted to, but most of the time I get to talk to him, because if it wasn't for my son, I can probably assure you that I would not be in his life if it was up to CPS. My son is what saved me. And that boy's my hero. He is my hero. And when he comes home, y'all are going to hear the story a lot. I'm going to start putting it out there now. Like, he tells us to be yourself. Don't change for nobody. And he's like, don't let nobody take your shine away. And there was this, I'll play it probably on tomorrow's show. I'll play the video he had me make for him. All right, Tammy, you have a good evening, and come join us at 9 o'clock. And thank you, Tammy. You have a good evening. Bye. All right, everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna skedaddle, and I will see y'all at 9 p.m. tonight for the CPS Breaking News, or CPS Fight and Justice show. 9 p.m. Eastern time. Come join us, and once again, Merry Christmas Eve. And if I don't see you tonight, have a Merry, Merry Christmas. And I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. Y'all have a good evening.